Betsy from Cuttin Corners Vinyl in Nederland, Texas, and today we have a fun video. My friend Christy, who runs the channel Christy Creates, I will make sure to link her up here, does a monthly challenge called Chic for Cheap. Now, this happens on the first Monday of every month, and the premise behind it is to go to like Kirkland's, Hobby Lobby, Pottery Barn, Michael's, wherever it is, and if you see something that inspires you, to use it as inspiration to recreate it for cheaper. So I decided I wanted to start doing these every month, and I thought it was like, I love the idea behind it. So I went to Hobby Lobby and I found this sign right here. Now, I thought the sign was super cute. It is in their spring section, so even though it retails for $39.99, it was 40% off, so that's pretty affordable. But I'm making it for a friend of mine's classroom, and the colors just didn't jive, so I figured we would recreate it. Now, I went to Michael's the other day and I found this blank signboard. This is a chalkboard, and it retails for $29.99, but this was also 40% off, so it was $17.49. Other than that, I just need some paint, my file, which the SVG I did upload to my Patreon page. So if you're a $4 or more a month patron, you get access to all of my SVGs. And if you go up to $10, you do get them for commercial use. So I'm gonna show you how to make this. All that you need is your signboard, some paint mask. This is Oramask 813, and paint and transfer tape. So if you'll give me a moment, I'll go over how to put this together, but I did want to remind you that on our website there is a sale off everything for Mother's Day. It's 20% off, no code needed. Now the sale does end at 12 a.m. May 10th of 2021. Now that is my time, Central Standard Time. But if you'll give me a moment, we'll change the camera angle and show you how to put this together. So as you can see, I have my chalkboard laid out. And one thing you do want to make sure of is when you're doing this, that you have how it hangs correctly. So I have the top of the chalkboard towards me, so that way y'all can see what I'm doing. I have already cut and masked and weeded our design, so I'm wanting to kind of lay it out to make sure it's nice and straight and centered before like we stick it all in place. So that is one thing I would definitely recommend. You know, double check, make sure things look straight. Because especially when you're painting, you can't really go back and start over. Okay. That looks pretty good to me. So, as you can see, I have a little bit of tape over here on the edge. The transfer tape, I have a little bit extra. And if you do need instructions on cutting and all this kind of stuff, I do have lots of videos on that as well. So I have already started to remove the paper backing. So let's see if we can do this now, if it wants to cooperate. Because, you know, I don't know how it is for y'all, but sometimes whenever I'm doing projects like this, it's like, yeah, I worked 5 seconds ago. Don't know if you want me to work now. So I'm just removing the paper backing off of the Oramask 813. And I'm going slowly because we don't want to pull up any of our letters. Oh, and our transfer tape moved. So you know what? We're going to go about this a little differently. Okay. So as you can see, the Oramask is a more of a clear color. So it can be a little difficult to see whenever you're working with something that is darker. But what I'm going to do is take and give myself a center point on both top and bottom. So I'm just kind of creasing my, like holding the vinyl where the sticky side is out, giving myself like a slight crease mark, and we're gonna do it both ways because, yeah, I did remove a part of an E. So you see how I have this piece of an E in my hand? I need to figure out where it goes. Up, right up there at the top. So we're just going to piece that back in. Okay. Now we have center. There we go. Now I've got a squeegee here that has a felt edge, and we're gonna squeegee our way out from the center. It's always easiest to work your way out from the center than it is to go the other way. Okay, now we're gonna remove our transfer tape. There we go. So now I know this is hard to see, but we've got our white apple. This is the white paint from, where's that from? Walmart. And then I have my chalk colors. So we have Keepsake, Refreshing, Innocence, and Rouge. So what we're gonna start with is our colorful layer, and then we'll do the light layer. Okay, so we're gonna go color by color. So I've just got some little sponge tip brushes, and I don't want too much paint, so I'm just gonna scrape that off on the edge. And we're gonna start with our C and make sure just to kind of stamp, because I want it to still have that kind of chalkboard appearance, if that makes sense, with not a whole lot of paint. So there's our red C. So then there's pink, teal, mint, but part of the reason why you want to keep your paint thin too is it's much easier to control where it goes. So again, pink, mint, or pink, teal, mint. And doing the colorful portion is the hardest section. Once you get down to your white, everything else is white. Okay, so scrape it off. Pink, teal, mint. Okay, so this one I want to be very careful with because these are close together. So the S and the R almost joined together in one piece. So we definitely want to make sure we're good. Okay, so now our red is finished. And as I said, the colorful portion is the hardest part. So, okie dokie. Now we have pink. So this again is called Keepsake. A lot of times when I'm doing stuff like this, I like to kind of use the paint that's on the lid because, you know, it makes it a little bit easier. So go careful. And it's okay if this takes you a little bit longer to make sure it's pretty perfect. Okay. And if you have any issues with it going outside of those colors, you can always take and touch up with some black chalk paint. But I would wait to do that till everything's dry. Okay. Now we're on to our teal portion. So as you can see, I got a little bit of pink on that letter. So I wanted to move it so I could make sure not to mix it. So this one is the shade Keepsake. Little spongy brush. I almost need some that are tiny bit smaller, but it's okay. You make do with what you got. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I like things that look arts and craft. You know, I don't want it to be too perfect. Okay. But you can kind of see how, I mean, easy this is going. It's not like, as I said, it's not super difficult to do. It's just more tedious than anything. See how pretty that looks? I love this color scheme. Yep. I guess it's a good thing I haven't painted the white yet. But as I said, the white's the easy part. Doing the sections like this is a little bit more difficult, at least in my opinion, because you have to be a little bit more careful with this. Okie dokie. Put that away. And then we have the last color. So this is Refreshing. Now we have our last little tiny brush. Gonna go from the lid. And the thing is, like, if you have a teacher that has a specific color scheme or anything like that, because we all know how teachers are, you know, they're kind of like me. They spend a lot of time in their classrooms, so they have their particular, there we go. Okay, so now all of those colors are done. Look how cute. Well, I know it's probably hard to tell, honestly. Okay, so now we're going to go for the white. Okay, So again, I'm gonna kind of go off the lid. I'm just trying to make sure I keep it on the letters itself. There we go. I love how this looks. And you could just vinyl this if you wanted it to be vinyl, but you know, I like the extra effort of adding the paint. So. Plus I've got, even though, you know, Cameron's in middle school, I still have a little bit of time left doing this because my nephew Aubrey starts kindergarten this year. So I got a little bit of red paint on my brush, so I'm going to go ahead and use my alcohol wipe and wipe it away. There we go. There. Okay, so now I think I'm gonna start, so that way I don't run into a lot of the other paint. I'm gonna start at the bottom and then we'll go from there. So that way the colorful layer has time to dry. See how easy this is? It sounds loud because, you know, my table's not level. And you could change this project for almost anything. Okay. Just keep stamping. Plus, stamping like this does help keep your edges cleaner. It really does, because you don't have all the thick paint that sometimes wants to go under the edge when you're brushing. There we go. We are almost finished. Trying to get a little bit more paint. Now the one thing about this that is, as I said, a little bit more on the difficult side is making sure not to run into your other paint colors. To me, that's the hardest part. And dab, dab, dab. Now I'm just going to take and kind of just double check to make sure everything's got pretty well of an even coat. We still want it to look homemade, but you know, you want it to be nice. If you're wanting it white, you want it to be nice and bright white. Okay, So I do see where I got a tiny bit of white on my teal, so that's an easier fix. There we go. So we're gonna let this dry for a bit, and then we'll come back and remove the paint mask, and we'll show you the finished project. So here is my finished Chic for Cheap project. I love how this came out. Now I'm sorry I didn't get to show you removing like the paint mask off of here. I waited until it was dry and actually had my daughter take it off. We were up at the emergency dog vet all night and this morning with my mother-in-law's dog because they're in Houston. So yeah, fun times. But didn't it turn out adorable? So all together, I think it would have been about $28 for me to buy it done from Hobby Lobby, and I paid $18 pretty much with tax for this signboard. So it's not that much cheaper, but the thing that I love about this is I was able to personalize it more for my friend's classroom. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button right down below. And if you hit the notification bell icon next to it, that will notify you when I post new videos, which is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And Tuesdays we do a live at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I guess that's it. We'll see y'all later. Bye.